Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome my Hadith disciples, YouTubers and viewers upon the Sunnah and Athar to another exclusive episode of F.M.F 5 minutes of faa'idah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, Ummahatul fada'ili arba' ad-din wal-ilmu wal-shaja'atu wal-karam aw wal-karamu wal-shaja'ah. He said the foundations of virtues are four. Four things are the ummahat, the foundations of all excellent merits to have. Number one, he said ad-din is the religion. Number two, al-ilm, knowledge. Number three, al-karam is generosity. And number four, al-shaja'ah is bravery. Or he may have said bravery before courage. Once more he said, Ummahatul fadaili arba'un. The foundations, meaning not all of the virtues. There are other virtues, there are other merits, there are other superior things to have and to possess and to be given by Allah Azza wa Jal. But these are the foundations. And if you have these four, it's very easy for you to build upon and to expand and to incur other benefits of virtues and superior merits. But these are the foundations. Ummahatul fadail. So if you only had these four, alhamdulillah, you're blessed. If you have 5, 6 based off of the four, you're even more blessed. And if you don't have any of the four, then you're severely and tremendously lacking in your virtues. Number one, he said ad-din. He says it's the religion. And what's meant by that is Islam. And what's meant by that is just not just being a Muslim, but being a good Muslim, a practicing Muslim, a pious Muslim, a conscious Muslim, performing the obligatory acts, avoiding the haram acts, rushing forth through the recommended acts, trying your best to stay away from the disliked acts, the doubtful acts, and never ever doing something which is mubah just because it's mubah. But every single thing that you do of eating and drinking and sleeping and dressing, recreation, you're actually trying to recycle and recreate it into good deeds, leading back to religious practice, back to being to something which is at least recommended. That's first and foremost. So it's good practice of the religion. A sound aqidah, good ibadah, good akhlaq, good suluk, good seerah, having a good religion, a good religious reputation. Number two, he said al-ilm is knowledge. And not just knowing the fundamentals, but adding them to the fundamentals. Having an abundance of knowledge, knowing Allah's names and attributes, knowing the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, having fiqh fi din, knowing halal and haram, knowing what to do and how to navigate through things, having basira. And of course, all of that starts with the fundamentals, locking down the usul, locking down the qawaid, and locking down the thawabit of the deen. And of course, the more knowledge you get, inshallah, the more light that you have. The longer that you study, the more books you read, the more ijazat, the more scholars that you sit under, the more universities that you graduate from, and the deeper your research goes. Number three, he said al-karam is generosity. As a person, not to be a miser, of course, not to be stingy, of course, not to just be, normal giving, but a person to be well known with giving a lot and having an open hand, having an endless purse, and having a sack of coins that never runs out. It's limitless. You're generous. Generous with your money, generous with your time, generous with your energy, generous with your name and your clout, helping people out, putting in a good word for someone, writing a letter of recommendation, steering someone in the right direction, being generous with your physical strength, protecting the Muslims, doing security. If you have to beat somebody up and protect somebody, rough somebody up, using the muscle for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, beating up a bully, a tyrant, and allowing the people to be safe outside. That's what we're talking about, beating someone up. Last but not least, he said, وَالشَّجَاعَةِ is to be brave. And the first thing that is included in this bravery is on the battlefield. Is the actual qital fi sabilillah, fighting the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala physically. And of course that's based off of the jihad in the qalb and the jihad in the mind. Fighting your desires, fighting your lusts, fighting your whims, fighting the munafiqeen, those who wish to destroy Islam from within, the zanadiqa, fighting the people of falsehood and misguidance and innovation, writing against them, defending the deen, defending the sunnah. Any type of jihad which is a requirement of a person having courage. And of course the greatest courage is to have the courage against your own nafs and courage against the shaitan. So ask yourselves, do I possess these four things? If I do, how much, how little? And if I have mastered them, have I built upon them? We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to bless us and to make us virtuous.